This video is starting with how to use a turtle when you've got a mob spawner in a dungeon and you want to create this into a farm for, well, in this case, skeletons. It typically means making a 9x9 cube around, empty cube around the spawner, so that you can then flood the base and transport all the mobs to wherever you want them. So I've got a script that will do that quite nicely. So let's place this. You can put it either in front or on top, or if the floor's not there you can put it underneath, but for the time being I'll put it on the top there, and run the toolkit as before. This time we're going to use the mob farm tools, which is 6, and then we're going to create a 9x9 cube. Enter yes, that's what we want to do. It wants just some cobble to fill up the various holes and bits and pieces. So with a bit of luck that will now climb up, putting blocks on top of the spawner so that it disappears, so that when it's active you don't get mobs spawning on top here. So that should work nicely. It's gone up round the corner here, so what we'll do is go into spectator mode so that we can watch what's happening. There we go. Right, so as you can see, the turtle has gone to the top. It's making it so that it's 4 blocks hollow above the spawner, and it's now checking as it goes both for any gaps in the wall here or gaps in the ceiling. I think this is a pretty solid ceiling. Oh, there's a gap here, look. So that will fill those in. So it'll go around the whole of the top of a 9x9 area, checking the walls to make sure they're filled in, and checking the ceiling to make sure there's no gaps in it. Now it's done the edges. It's now going to do the centre by running up and down in a pattern here. You might be able to see that from below now. Yep. So it'll do this sort of 7x7 square, then return to the middle here. It will of course break the block that was put on here, so that's something that might just need to be taken care of in the code, but at least the bulk of the work is being done, so you can always stack up a few dirt blocks and put it back manually in that case. I think it only affects the first 2 layers. After that it doesn't go across like this. It only goes across the top to make sure that the ceiling is clear, and that the next layer down, if it happens to be too low, it'll just make sure that's okay as well. So we'll skip ahead until it's reached the other side. So it's now on the second from top layer, so it's again just going around the walls, making sure that there is no gaps in a similar pattern. So we'll now skip till it reaches here again. So you can see it's filling in the hole here that was naturally in this particular spawner. As it'll go past here, it'll also fill this one in as well. So again, we're going across the ceiling just to make sure that there's no blocks there, and it will of course take out that central column again, so something we can deal with later. That's the last of the ceiling, so it's coming back. it'll go down now, and it's this time it won't do the ceiling, it'll only go around the outside walls in 2 layers. So first of all this sort of outer area here, and then secondly like an inner one, just in case, as in this case we've got a smaller dungeon than we really need. So it's just doing the outer layer at this stage, again making sure that there's no holes. Okay, I'll come back to that when it's gone down a bit. Okay, so it's now just doing the outside wall, so this is a good time to fix this column here. So I've got any dirt? Not a lot. I'll do. Just climb up and manually place those blocks there. That's it. Because it's going to be a lot easier to do that while the floor is still at this height, because once it has gone down this far it's going to burrow another 4 blocks and hollow out the floor. There's my entranceway being blocked in, so we'll fix that later. So we'll just catch it doing the inner ring of blocks here, and then pause the video again while it does the next 2 or 3 floors down. So it's now going to go around and fix that inner ring. It's taking less time because it's not checking to see whether there's any missing blocks there, it's just getting rid of the excess. Okay, and it'll now repeat that for the next layer down. I've just placed a chest here just so you can see what happens if it happens to come across a chest. It will actually just sit and wait, because there may not be enough room in the inventory for the contents of the chest, so it's just kind of sitting there waiting. It might be helpful if I put a text in there to say please empty and remove the chest, so we'll just break it and it will continue. So it's now about to start on clearing the floor, so it is wise to remove all the chests if you can, otherwise it will just wait for you. So exactly the same procedures that we used at the top here, so it's going to cut out all of the floor and then drop down and continue doing that for another 3 layers, so that we get a total of 4 layers below the spawner here. Okay, I'll come back to that in a minute. And floor removal is quite fast because it's not checking for any missing blocks, so it doesn't have to turn, so it takes less time. It has been programmed so that if accidentally it was in the wrong plane and came across the spawner, it will pause like it did by the chest and wait for you to discontinue the program, so that it doesn't accidentally break the spawner. The only block it can't break is bedrock. Obsidian breaks just as quick as this. Okay, I'll come back in a second once it's done the next 3 floors and it's about to finish. So it's finished now. It's ended up in this corner, and we've got a 9 by 9 by 9 empty cube with the spawner in the middle and a column of cobble above it to stop mobs from spawning on top and staying there. This hollow was my original access chamber. I'm just making a new one through to my ladder, So typically what we do now is to fill a row of water along here so that it sweeps any mobs out either into a continuous trench and then dropping down, or to some kind of soul sand trap here which sends them up and then drops them down again. I want to drop them about 20 blocks to weaken them. We're currently at 28, so yeah, we might as well go down to the ground. It's probably easier as I don't have any soul sand at the moment. So we'll use the turtle to create a single trench from here down to bedrock. So I'm ready to create a trench now, but I'm going to use the turtle as much as possible because my diamond pickaxe is getting a bit worn, and although I've got mending on it, because I'm not working with mobs at the moment, I'm not really getting much experience, so I'm going to use the turtle where possible. So the first thing I want to do is to get rid of the first 2 layers of blocks here. So we'll go forward 1D, and it goes in, and then I won't even bother to look, I'm just going to turn left. So we're now facing that wall, so we want to go forward, what is this, 9 long, so we're going to go forward 8. Forward 8 dig. Okay, so we'll go round twice, up 1 dig, and then again going to go forward 8 dig. Okay, so once the water's flowing from this wall back here, then that will travel a distance of it's 7 blocks unless you put it at this height, which will make it a bit longer. So I think it makes it 9 blocks, then we should take it to the edge of the thing. So we'll do the trench down here. So let's rotate it twice, and then we'll go down twice, so we'll need to dig. Right, so it's now sitting ready to create a trench. Now we are at 28, and I want the mobs to fall around 20 blocks so that they get severely damaged but not die. So let's dig it 20 deep. So let's get rid of that. So we'll run the toolkit. Oops. Beginner's mistake here. I'd put an X instead of a multiply sign on this line here, so hopefully that will sort that now. Let's try that again. That's better. And we're going to go to the mob farm tools 6, and we've got a new one now, which is dig the mob trench, which is 2. Now, I've not tested this yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's supposed to dig a trench that direction. It is. I didn't give it any instructions, so I'll just press enter. Nope, we need to fix that. Okay, that's better. Yes, so we want the trench to be 9 things long, and we'll make it 20 deep. Need to add some more. This is in case there's any voids in the side of the trench wall. So hopefully that will now go down. It's checking to make sure that there are no blocks. I've just realised I could have actually stood it on the surface, so it's I'll just manually do this top one. There we go, and we can watch it as it goes down. It's going to take quite a while. I just want to make sure that it reaches the other side, turns around and does its job properly without breaking further out than it's supposed to. Hopefully it'll turn around now. Oops. Oh dear. No worries. Actually, it might be quite useful to have it slightly longer than required, so that it gives me an access up the side, so I'll leave that, but it'd be nice if it did what it was told and made it 9 long, so we'll fix the code on that shortly. Now when it's finished it will come back up again, so I'm going to go pause now, and I'm going to extend my, let me just get across this, oops, ouch, I was going to go across there, so I'll follow it down and just hope that it doesn't run into any lava. Report back in a minute. Right, I managed to escape, so I'm now at block level 8, so we're just going to go around and intercept the turtle once it's dug its trench. If I remember, it was about 3 blocks. That should do. We'll wait for it to come down here now. So we've gone into spectator mode so that we can see this progress of this trench. So he's going down there. Alright, let's follow it through. So it seems to be working very well so far. It's just 1 block longer than I wanted, but I've adjusted the code so that it compensates for that. Length is alright, and it's made a complete solid wall. So I'll test it at 20 blocks. If it's too hard and some of the skeletons die, then I can reduce that, but once it's finished doing its job, we'll build a kill zone at the bottom, so that I can gain experience points and repair all my tools. Let's see what level we're at. 13, so not too much further to go. About okay, I'll come back when it's done. So the trench has been completed. I've rescued the turtle which came back up to the surface. There is lava down there, and I've put a row of water here which has brought it nicely to the edge so that the skeletons will be swept down here. I'll leave this bridge here temporarily until we've fixed the lower. So I'm going to fix the lava that's gathered at the bottom of the trench now. I bricked it in. Whoa. I think we can go up a bit higher. That's more like it. Might as well seal it at that point, I think. Right, so this is slightly too long here, so we'll fix that now. Right, so I'm stuck here. So we'll come back when I've got myself out of this. So this is the finished skeleton farm. So the trench that the turtle dug is up there. It just drops down onto a simple bar here, so that the feet of the skeletons run along here, and you just go along and whack them with a sword. Because it's not working at the moment because I'm too far away from the spawner, so this is not a good idea for a farm, because you have to keep running up to get close to the spawner. So let's just show you that it's working. If I just change back to, let's put it back on normal. So to activate the spawner, I need to go up underneath, so that I'm only about 15 blocks away from it. And then, as you see on the subtitles here, that the skeletons are falling. I'm going to put my pickaxe in that hand so that it repairs. There's mending on everything here, so let's go down and see what's arrived. So they've been weakened sufficiently by their drop, so the single whack with the sword does for them, and the sword is now repaired. So that shows you how it works. So the next stage, I think, is to do a soul sand elevator put at the top of the trench there, and redesign this, but I haven't been to the Nether yet. So I think that's the next step, is to show you how to use the turtles in the Nether, both to make a portal and to start exploring and getting stuff out. So that'll be the subject of the next video.